Hello everyone, first time speaker. I think there's probably too many people for me to go through and name check, but I will do my best. Well, we heard from Henry, obviously, in the first case, and I want to say your circumstance is awful, quite clearly awful. And as we've heard, there are certainly claims that it's not lawful. But I would say it's not reasonable to assume that coercion rather than treatment is the default. As we heard from Abby, the purpose of involuntary detention is the treatment of the people who are being detained so that they can return to society. Jenny talked about the move for a separate vote and the right to die. And let me clear this up now because this is clearly a common conflation that's happening. I can't speak for the other movers, for the movers of this amendment. Personally, I believe in the right to die. I don't think the amendment conflicts with that. We're specifically talking about cases where people are suffering from mental illness that may impact their ability to make those rational decisions. There's a difference between the decision made under full faculty and a decision made in a case where your agency is compromised. Another big issue we've heard is about the need for better mental health care provision, and that's clearly something that we, I think, all agree on, is that there simply isn't enough mental health funding. And the hope is that if you provide more help early on the line, you reduce the need and the number of involuntary detentions later anyway. Abuse within the system is not de facto an argument against the system. It's an argument for tighter processes, better oversight, more careful vetting of people that come into professions where they hold a duty of care over others. But it's not an argument against the system themselves. Jamie talked about Alzheimer's and dementia patients. I work with Alzheimer's and dementia patients on a reasonably regular basis. So I see up close the effects of capacity and deteriorating health, both mentally and physically. And what I'd say is, capacity is important and it's a valuable metric, but it's simply insufficient, in and of itself. And we heard about the problems of integration between the different mental health acts. Hopefully, this would go some way to bring those into a tighter loop. David talked about places for men in mental health treatment and suicide prevention. I will level with you conference. I was suicidal at a young age, so I speak from a place of experience in this. Suicide among young men is a massive issue. It's something that needs to be addressed. But I think that as it stands, there is a need for ensuring that temporary decisions don't have permanent consequences. The motion as written, I would argue, compels medical neglect. Presenting a danger to themselves or others is already an established threshold for clinicians in the UK in terms of jumping over confidentiality. And it's an internationally recognized standard for involuntary detention in places like Australia, Germany, Finland, the Netherlands, and New Zealand. As we've already heard, if you're worried about the implications of this motion, I'd say please vote for the amendment, even if you are intending to vote against the motion. And I would encourage you to vote against the motion unamended. Let me finish by saying, as we've heard already, 1 in 4 of us in the UK in our lifetimes will experience a mental health problem in any given year. So put ourselves in Abby's friend's shoes. If any of us were in that situation, I'm sure we would want to receive the same treatment and the same opportunity for treatment. So please, again, I urge you to vote for the amendment. Thank you.